These are the R control vowels. So R controls the vowel that comes before it. So AR says R generally, most of the time, like art or car. ER, IR, and UR all say the same thing. They all make just the R sound and say Today, you're going to learn that OR says or most of the time. And that most of the time has a pretty consistent pattern that you can rely on. That is, it will almost always say or. I can't think of a time when it doesn't, if it's at the beginning or middle of a word. So or will say or at the beginning and middle. Can it at the, well, I'm trying to think if it can at the end of a short word. I can't even think, oh, I guess, yeah, for. But here's the part that is a consistent pattern that you can pretty much rely on. When or comes at the end of a multisyllable word, it will likely say Why? I don't know. It's just rude. I don't know why our language has, why can't we just spell it with an ER, you know? I don't know. Like sailor. Um, there's a bunch of words. Negotiator, I think, ends with an OR. So if you want the or sound for spelling, we're not going to go over this too much today, but just for your information, if you want the or sound at the end of a multisyllable word, you need to put a E, final E at the end, like Commodore. Otherwise, that OR will say Okay, but today we're going to work on spelling the or sound in the beginning and middle of words. So it's going to be kind of an easier lesson, I hope. You need it in this month. You need to break this up into little bite-sized pieces so that you can grasp all of the little nuances about our control vowels. All right, I'm sharing my screen. Yes, yes. So if you hear or, spell it OR if it's at the beginning or middle of a word. That is just a R controlled vowel. So our first word that I want us to spell together is bornip. Bornip. B. Oh. Are we going to separate? So I have two choices here. I can put that on one line, but I'm not going to. I'm going to separate it because for reading, this might be, for our reading class in the next half hour, that might be, I might box that as a unit because we're going to recognize it. When reading is for recognizing. Reading is for recognizing patterns. Spelling is for generating them. And when we generate patterns, we have to be able to split them up into those tiny little micro sounds so that we know exactly what's happening inside the word. So for this OR, I'm going to separate the sounds. Bornip. B, O, R, N, I, P. Here's a vowel, here's a vowel. Consonants. B, O, R, N, I, P. Vowels. Or, I can hear that or and I know it's going to be spelled with an OR. I is always spelled with an I. Well, almost always. I'm going to say 98% of the time, I will be spelled with an I. Are you wondering, when is I not spelled with an I? If you can think of a word, bonus for you. If you can think, because I've been doing this for a while. I know what another letter that can spell the I sound. If you can think of another word where I is spelled with another letter besides I, put it in the chat and I'll call you out and I'll say that was really awesome. And then if you want to know, I'll just tell you. All right, your word. Forted. Forted. O-R-T-I-D. Go for it. I'll let you put that one in the chat and work on it on your own. Forted. Yeah, when you're done, if you drop it in Q&A. Yes, I can. Can you write a normal word with OR in the beginning or middle of it? Yeah, I'll just put them right here. So we have orbit, morbid. I don't know why that word came to my mind. Orchard, fork. How's that? Is that enough? Your word is forted. Forted. Excellent. Ornate. That's a good one. Thank you, Sarah. Yes. So we have consonants. F, O, R, T, I, D. We recognize this OR sound as an OR, kind of a grapheme, but not really. And then I right there, forted. All right, I have a feeling you're going to do pretty well on this lesson. You're going to feel pretty good. Nathan, I know that was an autocorrect. Don't you worry. Number 2. I'm going to kick it up a notch just already. I usually give you a couple easy ones at the beginning, but I see in the answers that I think every single person got that right. So I am going to kick it up just a little bit. This one I want us to do together though. So poor mid. So poor mid. So we have S, O, P, O, R, M, I, D. Consonants. S, O, P, O, R, M, I, D. O. We spell the O sound first with an O. That's the first thing we try. There are a lot of different ways to spell the O sound. You have O, you have OA, you have OE, you have O consonant. No, not that one. You have OW, you have OUGH. Look at all those. But don't you worry, we're going to demystify every single one. And the tool that we use is to try the most common first. This is the most common. And if it works, stop, you're done. And you'll know it works if there's another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots, which there is, because that's why we dot the vowels before we spell. So because we can see that O already has another vowel in the next 1 or 2 positions, we can leave it as just a single O. We don't need any other letters to help it say that. Okay, or, so poor, there's our OR right there, and then mid. We're going to spell that I with an I. Good. All right. Okay, next, I want you to do this one on your own. Try the word toe foretip. Toe foretip. T, O, F, O, R, T, I, P. Toe foretip. Toe foretip would be another way to say it. Toe foretip. The very end is tip, like you're going to tip a server. Toe foretip. It's tempting to want to write toe like this, isn't it? Or like this, because you know how to spell those words. However, you only spell a word as it stands by itself if it's a compound word. Otherwise, it's probably going to be spelled differently if you hear that word as part of a larger word. You can't rely on this. So no, it's not going to be TOE or TOW right here as a big hint. Toe for tip. Yeah. All right, so consonants. T, O, F, O, R, T, I, P. O, can this O say O? Yeah, in this spot? Yeah, it can, because there's already a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. So we don't need an OE, we don't need an OW, we don't need an OA, we don't need an OUG. We don't need anything because it's perfect the way it is. The most common spelling is usually going to work because it's the most common. And this O is going to work just fine right here because there's a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. Here is that OR that we spell with an OR, and then our I is spelled with an I. All right, I didn't see anybody, just as an aside here, just for a fun aside. I didn't see anybody in the chat give me another word where an I is spelled with something other than an I. Are you curious? Can I just give you that little fun fact? Look at this word. How do you say that? This A is pronounced as an I. Necklace. Necklace. Look at this word. Are you getting blown away yet? Garbage. This A is being spelled, it's spelling the short I sound. Garbage. Garbage, right? How about this word? There's a bunch, you guys. We don't say chocolate. We say chocolate. Can you believe that? Does that just blow your mind that an A can spell the I sound? Who knew that? Nobody except you, because you came to class today. Now you have that fun fact to impress all of your friends and family. A can say I. They'll tell you you're wrong, and you'll prove to them that it does. It says I in these two. Are they suffixes? I don't think they're suffixes. Just they come at the end of words. ATE can say it, and AGE can say age. It also can say ate and age, but it can say either one when it's toward the end of a longer word, when it's at the end of a longer word. But that's a really kind of less common. There's so many spelling patterns that I want to teach you guys. That's why I'm adding a whole new section in August to teach you all of these new things that I didn't get to teach you last year. Things like that will just kind of blow your mind a little bit. So hang around for August. August is going to be fun. All right, our next word is, you guys did pretty good on that. Try this one. Yeah, I'm going to go harder, okay? Spittendorm. Spittendorm. Let's do this one on your own. Sp, I, t, e. Those are two different sounds. I, e, I, Spitten. Oops. Give you a hint there. Spittendorm. 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 Try it. Spittendorm. Only one person's got it right so far. Oh, two people. Spittendorm. Harder one. If you didn't get it spot on, you got almost everything perfect. You were almost there. Spittendorm. 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 All right, consonants. S, p, I, t, e, n, d, o, r, m. I can't stress how important it is to spell this way instead of just kind of trying it on your own and just spelling it with your pencil without separating the sounds first and without dotting the vowels first, because that's what you've been doing your whole life that hasn't worked, right? This is breaking it back down to the basic levels to retrain your brain to redirect those nerve pathways to see and dissect words where they have never been dissected before. We're breaking them apart so that we can build them together, build them up accurately using our logic of the patterns and the rules. So that's why we have to split them up first. That's why we do all of that sound work at the beginning of each class, because you can't spell what you're not hearing. So we have to make sure that we hear every single sound, and then we dot the vowels so that we can know how to spell them based on the consonants that are around it. So it's kind of important to do those 3 steps: separate consonants, vowels, for a long time until your brain is retrained to see and approach words in a totally new way so that you can have totally new outcomes. All right, so Spittendorm. We want this to say I. Can it say I here? Not yet. It needs 2 consonants after it. If there's not 2, make 2. Now it can say I. Can this E say here? Yes, because there are 2 consonants after it. O. Can this O say O here? Yeah, because that's what O says when there's an R after it. Spittendorm. Spittendorm. All right, do you want another hard one or do you want a medium one? Let me know. M or H in the chat. Hard, 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 hard. Okay, I can get it. I can get that hint. All right, last one. Maybe not the last one, but probably. Okay. Flippendorf. Flippendorf. F O I P E N D O R F. Flippendorf. I first and then E. Flippendorf. Nice. Flippendorf. I first and then in the middle. Those are two different sounds. This one right here is an itchy. This one right here is an exit, elbow. Flippendorf. All right. So for in the chat, I'm getting some people spelling the f with a ph. That's brilliant that you know that ph can make the f sound. Well done. That happens in Greek words. If I ever want you to use a ph, which I think is in one of these lessons, I'll tell you. I'll tell you if it's a Greek word or not. Otherwise, we're going to use the most common spelling, which is an f. So in Flippendorf, we have f, o, I, p, e, n, d, o, r, f. Okay, so for our I, we want that to say I, but it can't yet because short vowels need two consonants after them. If there's not two, make two. Sometimes I can say I without two consonants after it, but that's only if it's in the middle syllable. It has to be the middle vowel. That one's the first vowel, so it needs two consonants after it. Eh. This E can say right here just fine because there are already two consonants after it. And then or right here is going to be spelled O-R. Flippendorf. Flippendorf. Now, if you didn't get it, that was a hard one, okay? That was the hardest one on the page. And if you didn't get it, you got close. You got close. That is a lot of sounds with a lot of rules and patterns to remember. So well done. All right, I'm going to end on a medium one. Spell the word bore mop. Bore mop. B-O-R-M-op. Bore mop. Don't you love it when these words that you've never seen before in your whole life all of a sudden seem easy because you just did a hard one? That's your reward for challenging yourself. It's not supposed to be easy. You're just getting good at it. Now these ones that might have seemed hard before are now all of a sudden seeming easy because you're stretching yourself. Bore mop. Good. Bore mop. Yeah. So consonants b, o, r, m, a, p. So here's our or that you're now learning is spelled o-r in the beginning and middle of words. A is spelled with an o. Right here just fine, even though there's not two consonants after it, as long as it's not a vowel here or here, then it's perfectly fine. It could be a consonant and then the end of the word. Bore mop. Good. Now, how are you feeling? You had kind of I never want to say it's easy because this is brand new information, probably. And it's whenever you are learning something new, it's going to be there's going to be a learning curve there. You're not going to get everything perfect every time. But how are you feeling about learning OR spells or? So now you can spell fork and orbit and chord and chorus and porridge and all the words that you're going to hear with or, you're going to know that that OR says or. You're also going to know that when you see it at the end of a word, which we're going to do in reading class right now. If it's a longer word, it's going to say All of that knowledge is now yours to keep. I'm glad you came today. Welcome to your new knowledge. It's yours forever. Bye, everybody. See you next time.